In this short video, I'm going to demonstrate cat-cow, and we're going to use this posture in order to develop mobility in the spine. So essentially this posture is working through the movements of spinal flexion and spinal extension. So we tend to refer to it as cat-cow stretch, and absolutely we could hold each phase for a longer period of time, up to sort of 8 to 12 seconds, in order to turn it into a maintenance stretch. However, we tend to move between the top and the bottom position in cat-cow in order to aid mobility in the spine. So we're going to start in the tabletop position. Okay, so tabletop position or neutral position tends to be this all fours. So when we've got the wrist underneath the shoulder and knee underneath the hip. Now ideally those hands are shoulder distance apart. The knees are hip distance apart as well. And it's always nice to make the most of the hand stretch in this posture as well by opening up those fingers and really grounding those hands down into the mat. Okay, so the top phase is the angry cat position. So here we're working on spinal flexion. So as we breathe out, we're going to draw the tailbone underneath and draw that chin in towards the chest. And we're gently grounding into the hands and into the knees and shins in order to assist with that movement, to really try to arch that spine up towards the ceiling. If we make the most of the bandhas here as well by pulling up through Mula Bandha and drawing back through Uddiyana Bandha, that can help to lengthen those muscles in the spine a little bit further. So this is our angry cat position, or the cat variation of cat-cow. We then come back into that tabletop position, and then from here we're going to tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, but we're also widening through the hips here as well in order to try to create more space around the hip joint and allow more forward tilting of the pelvis. We're keeping those arms straight, and we're dropping the stomach and the chest towards the mat, and the head is up in this position. Okay, so this is our cow variation of cat-cow. And then again, from here, we're going to come back into that neutral position. And then as you breathe out, we come back up into that angry cat variation. Breathing back to tabletop or neutral, and then breathing out into the cow variation. And it's quite nice to repeat this movement with the breath several times, because quite often at first, the first couple of movements don't feel or can feel a little bit tight. And then we're gradually moving through that flexion and extension to loosen the muscles of the spine and to create more movement around the pelvis here. So it's spinal flexion into spinal extension. And we're working with one breath per movement in order to increase mobility at the spine. So that's our cat-cow variation, keeping those hands nice and open, or the fingers nice and open, so we're getting a nice hand stretch, and the wrists are in line with the shoulders, knees are in line with the hips, and our hands and knees are roughly about hip distance apart.